Well, I don't know what happened there. I was in my stride, and this funny screen came up on my phone, which I tried to get rid of, and ended up killing the whole charade. The whole stream just collapsed. I'm here, Alan. I'm here. Trust me, I'm here. Yes, the uh, uh, you get these bloody Android updates come on the phones, and they just want to screw you over. So I just try and ignore them the most I can. But this fucking screen came up on my phone, and I went to get rid of it, and the whole job lot crashed. And when I came back into YouTube, yes, I kind of had a bit of a problem. It all disappeared, and the problem is where you use the native YouTube algorithm, bloody dibby dabby, what's the name? There's no facility to jump back in where you left off, you see. Uh, it just cuts it dead. I mean, when you use something like StreamYard, for example, uh, you can rejoin your live stream. You can hop out and hop back in at whim. It keeps the connection open, but with this bloody thing, it doesn't. Once you're gone, you're gone, and that's exactly what happened there. Strangest technology. I think I need to get something else dedicated just for YouTube in it. I think. Yes, Alan, I do intend to look at that, trying to switch off automatic updates because they're a bloody nightmare. I'm quite happy with my phone the way it is, and I don't want them sneaking all sorts of gubbins on there. No, thank you, definitely not. We thought you'd zoom forward to Sunday, Vivian Ringo says. Yeah, funny, funny. Yes, oopsie, exactly, Tina, exactly. We need to start the likes again. Yes, we do. Come on, let's get them up, 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 up. We've got about half the people back that were here, so hopefully they'll all return shortly. Cosmic War Toad. I think I might have pushed the wrong button and my phone had a freak out. I just completely ended up killing the whole thing. On off. What's going on? Exactly, John Harris. It was what you would call GSU, a Gabby screw up. There you go. I said it as it is. I buggered it right up. So there we are. Yes, Gary Moores, it's Sunday already. Well, back to the plot. What I was talking about with pubs and trouble and all the rest of it. A couple of stories. Uh, I was in a well-known drinking establishment, which will remain nameless because it's not their fault. And I was there having a beer. And bear in mind, I'm in my 30s by this point. And a couple of these kids came up to me, both of which I'm old enough to be their father, and started trying to pick a fight with me. I thought, what the and I said, what the hell? And they said, I said, look, I said, I was coming in here drinking when you two were in nappies. And I said, if you don't get out of my face, I'm going to push it through that floor. So I suggest you fuck right off. And then, and I like the eyes on the YouTube thing, and they did. They had it on their toes. They were gone, and I thought, probably nice kids, when they're sober, but they acted like a pair of arseholes. They're like on heat, and there was another thing where three of us, there was me and two of my friends, came out and out of the pub, and these two guys walked past us, and it said one of them called us a rather rude name, beginning with C and ending with the same letters as Jeremy Hunt's last name. I know the two can be confused quite regularly, but what happened next? Me and my other friend, who were more sober, decided, well, let's carry on walking and off we go. But no, my friend who likes a punch up a bit, the old 1-2 fisticuffs when he's had a few drinks, decided to go steaming in there, didn't he? Well, these two, who again, we were old enough to be their father, we kind of stood in front of them and gave them the old Gabby stare, as you do, and they realised they might have bitten off more than they could chew. It was 3 old farts against 2 youngsters. And then one of them turned round and said, "Here, mate, I don't think that's a good idea that we have a go at these. You never know what might happen, you know." And then the other one said, who was more drunk, he said, "Oh, you fucking told that." And then they started punching each other. And then we kind of walked off and thought, what the hell just happened? And the bouncers were laughing their heads off, absolutely howling with laughter. It really was good. And, you know, you get that sort of thing all the time. I'm old now. I just want to go to the pub for a quiet pint. I don't, I mean, another one. My dad came out of an establishment where he frequents, and a load of kids came up and started on him. And he asked them if they knew the location of the local accident and emergency department. And when he queried it, he turned around and said, "Well, the way you're going to fucking need it, sunshine." And again, they had it on their toes as well. Some humorous things, they get the message if you deliver it right, but you do get some things out of hand, which can happen quite regularly. I mean, take this guy. This guy is called Tommy Powell. I don't know if you can see this. He's a manager at a pub, and you can see his eye there. That looks quite bad. He's had some kind of toxic substance flung in his face, the poor sod. He's only 27. Bar manager left partially blind after an attack with a toxic substance. He had it thrown in his face. He arrived for a night shift at the Blue Bar Cafe in Eastbourne. I've only been to Eastbourne once. He had no idea that only hours later, paramedics would be scrambling to save his sight. The CCTV footage there shows that the attacker, identified by the police as Bradley Moynes, yes, let's remember Bradley Moynes, shall we, squirting a liquid from a plastic bottle directly in his face, also injuring 2 other men at the time. Describing how the skin around his eyes almost immediately blistered. That sounds like some kind of bloody chemical in a bottle, doesn't it? Tommy told the paper it all happened within the space of 5 minutes. "I felt this indescribable burning pain. My eyes and face were covered. It had also gone in my mouth and throat." 3 months on from the attack, Tommy, 27, said he's struggling with PTSD, depression, and anxiety caused by the incident. I guess he would, the poor sod, wouldn't he? He says he often shuts himself off from friends and family and avoids going out and talking to people. He's probably worried about how he looks, where he's going, or anything else. Before the attack on February the 11th, his friends described him as outgoing and very upbeat. Now they say he's become quite reserved and closed off. That's trauma, isn't it, I suppose? "I'm not completely blind, but I have noticeably very bad sight and damaged colour perception," Tommy said. "The right eye is a lot worse than the left. My vision is blurry and I constantly feel pain." That must be awful. "According to the doctors, I have stem cell failure in my eyes, which means they basically can't heal themselves. There's no protective barrier for them. Currently, the NHS has given me eye drops as a last option before a surgery." Alongside all his medical problems, Tommy is also struggling financially after not being able to work. Apart from his £99 a week statutory sick pay, he's no money coming in. He's not sure how he can continue to live. His mental health problems will also affect when he can potentially return to full-time work. "Because of my finances, I can't even afford a quick drink down the road with somebody." I mean, that's just not fair, is it? His friend and colleague, Julia Wakelin, who was also on shift, stressed there are no words to describe the horror and sheer panic that evening. Recalling the events that evening, she said Moynes beckoned Tommy closer to him before squirting the liquid directly in his face. "I was stood nearby and could immediately smell chemicals so strong my eyes, nose and throat burnt up. In that moment, I knew something was seriously wrong." Tommy manages to scramble inside, screaming in pain, and we rush to douse him in water in a desperate attempt to save his vision. One of the other victims outside collapsed in pain also. When the paramedics arrived, they weren't sure what to do with the victims as they did not know what the substance was, Julia remembered. Eventually, once they thought Tommy was all rinsed off, they bandaged his eyes with wet cotton pads and rushed him to hospital. Somehow, Moynes managed to escape the scene undetected and still hasn't been found. No arrests have been made, and Sussex police are not seeking anybody else in connection with the incident. Detective Amy Summers said that the police have launched an investigation into this attack as soon as it was reported on February the 11th, and the suspect, Bradley Moynes, was swiftly identified. Officers have been working with our partners in the community to urgently bring Moynes into custody for question, but he remains at large. Greatest sympathies go out to all three victims of this unprovoked attack who suffered the facial injuries. We remain in contact with the victims, and hopefully we'll bring Bradley Moynes to justice very soon. Now, this guy turns up at a boozer with a bottle of chemicals in a plastic bottle. He's only got one intention. He wants to go in there and hurt somebody. Now, the question is it a beef with somebody outside that he might have had a previous encounter with? Was poor Tommy the victim, the targeted victim all along, and the other people collateral damage? Was it just random, I want to start shit because I've drunk too much? Or was there something else going on as well? But this Moynes character sounds like he may have previous for this. I'm not directly accusing him of anything, it's just supposition and observation. And where is he? I mean, you can see quite clearly there's the start of the video there. You can see quite clearly him standing there and squirting the bottle of stuff at the poor bugger. So he's on camera. So the question is, how long will it take to find him? Now, something like that, when you're deliberately acting on, a violent thought or a violent action and want to do harm to somebody, it's very premeditated in my view, and you want to do harm. Now, I want a show of hands here. Who thinks that he should go to prison for a very long time if and when he's caught, and who thinks he shouldn't? Let's have a 1 if you think he should go to prison, because at the end of the day, he's dramatically changed someone's lives with his actions. Christine is a 1. Who else we got here? Let's have a few. Sheep are not very smart. Mum's a 1. Alan's a 1. Bridget's a 1. Julie's a 1. Mark Dover's a 1. 1. People starting trouble is a civil problem. 2. More stabbings in Folkestone. A couple of days ago in the town. 1. So we're all the same. He's got to be in there. What if worse happened? They just don't think. And was the guy drunk when he turned up? Yes, that's a good thought, Cosmic. Probably might have been doing somebody else's dirty work for him. You never know. It's just one of those things. But you get this everywhere. You just can't go out for a drink anymore without shit starting. It's crazy. Listen, folks, this is the daily chat with the Gabby Cabby. Thank you, everybody, for joining me, and sorry for that little hiccup at the beginning. That's me pushing the wrong button. If you haven't done so already, I'd like you to push a button for me. It's called the thumbs up, and let's get that up a bit. More likes. Thank you very much, I appreciate that. And also, if you're new to the channel, please consider subscribing as well. We need to get that up and running as well. We're on social media, so you can find us over there. And also we're in a few different places as well. So you literally type in Andy the Gabby Cabby into Google and see what happens. I come up in a few places. It's really cool. Right, let's have a quick look at the chat, shall we, and see what people are saying. I don't go out to local pubs anymore. There's always trouble and fighting, even the women. It's nuts. I mean, I remember years ago, this couple in my car was taken home, had a row, and the woman hit the fella with a bloody high heel shoe. They're all like it. It's get drink inside people. It's nuts. Uh, yeah, lots of ones there. 2 stabbings in Folkestone in a couple of days ago in the town. It was 2:15. A 16-year-old, 15 and 16-year-old were carrying knives. It's crazy. Julie Baldwin, Julie, I see you in the chat there, and you made it. I hope everything went as well as it can do today. Awful times for you, but I hope everything went as good as it could have done for what was going on. These acid attacks are nasty from just sick people. I mean, you see them, don't you, as well, where the faces are disfigured and everything. It's completely life-changing. Can somebody tell me what's wrong here? Yesterday I paid just under a fiver for a 660ml bottle of Heineken in the pub, but the shops sell 2 bottles the same size for £4 and 4 cans for £4.50. Yes, the overheads, I guess, in the pub and the purchase power of the pubs, it's just ridiculous. Yeah, I'm with you there. I'd rather sit at home with a few tins than anything else. John Harris, probably ammonia. Yeah, maybe. Nasty stuff. Nasty. There'll be more PLD MOD bases used. Perfect RF sealant near Chester. Yeah, Back from the Future. I'll have to be careful of the dates I put down later. And everybody's saying, Andy, you're back. I was going to say government moving the dinghy divers to a disused RAF base in Linton Valley, Yorkshire. 1,500 going there. Only just notified them. Christine, I did a video about something similar a while ago where the dinghy divers would outnumber the residents, something like 2 to 1. Was that it? I'm not quite sure whether that's the same or something else, but there you go. We thought you'd soon forward to Sunday. Yeah, I may just have done. I walked into a bar last night. It really hurt. It was an iron bar. Yeah. I'm okay, Andy. The Gabby Cabbage is trying to relax and get drunk. Everything went well, but my sister had been sedated by the doctor to calm her down a little. She was hysterical. Jesus. I walked into a bar. Yes, we got that one. Bridget, I don't go out either. Too expensive. That's cost of living again, isn't it? Jamie Oliver is on Foodie Rampage again, telling us what to eat. He doesn't know about anything economics, which is good because he won't understand hyperinflation. Hello, Jerry Georgopoulos. Good to see you. Jamie Oliver, right? He showed us quite categorically what goes into McDonald's chicken nuggets. Thank you very much for that. I will never put my lips near one of those ever again. Disgusting. But the problem is, a lot of these chefs I see, and Jamie Oliver's one of them, they preach to you how to cook all these very nice, nutritious meals and everything else. But the fucking ingredients they use are way out of people's budgets. Even though they're saying on the telly they're not, they are. They're just unaffordable. And then people will go down to, I don't know, Aldi's for whatever. And there might be more additives and preservatives in things than what he's having. So I get what he's trying to do in a funny sort of way, but it's not really the great time for it. And people will resent getting told what to do in the long term. You're talking nanny state stuff, and I don't know about you. I'm not bloody interested. It's ridiculous, really. But there you go. But Jamie Oliver will do what Jamie Oliver does. The rest of, everybody else that thinks the way he does as well. But there we are. Going back to holidays for a second, I saw earlier on where I relayed to you the story about what happened with my customer with EasyJet. A good few thousand people have viewed it so far and were quite disgusted. And I saw another thing earlier to do with Ryanair, and it's very similar story. And I noticed somebody said they wouldn't use EasyJet and Ryanair because they're shit. I suppose when they're cut price and everything else, it's pretty unbelievable. Here you go. Dad shocked by £270 extra Ryanair charges at the airport. A dad and his friends had to fork out £272 extra just so they could get home on a flight they'd already paid for. Okay, this is a new one. The unnamed dad of one from Leeds booked an all-inclusive holiday to Palma in Spain with a travel agent on the beach. He and three of his mates paid £1,400 each for a package, including £475 Ryanair return flights, a 4-star hotel, and bus transfers too. The actual holiday was brilliant with no problems, but things took a turn when the group tried to get back home again. Airport staff in Palma said they could not check the group onto their flight as they'd not checked in online beforehand, which is a Ryanair requirement. The friends say they'd never been told about this rule, but on the beach insists its customers were warned. As if, if you've got to fill in bloody Convid's paperwork and that sort of thing, it doesn't work, does it? They ended up having to pay £30 as a check-in fee, £38 to store their bags, amounting to £272 in total for the party. The dad said, "We were absolutely fuming. We didn't have to pay that at Manchester. It's a lot of money to pay." Well, you could afford £1,400 each. We didn't have any spare cash, so my friend had to pay on her credit card. We're still trying to pay that back. I'm a full-time dad, so any money I lose is less money for my son. The saga seems to have started some kind of drama between On the Beach and Ryanair over the company policy of advising customers to only book with the airline directly. Ryanair said the issue these passengers encountered is a direct result of having booked their flights through an unauthorised online travel agent. Ryanair has no commercial relationship with any OTAs, and in this instance, the OTA failed to advise the passenger of Ryanair's online check-in and baggage policies, resulting in them being correctly charged an airport check-in fee. Ryanair urges customers to always book directly. Remember that, folks, as OTAs may provide Ryanair with incorrect email addresses, contact and payment details, which block Ryanair from communicating directly with the customer. This sounds a bit like buck passing to me, doesn't it, you really? And refund. On the Beach strongly rejected any suggestion that we provide false or misleading information to Ryanair or to our customers. A spokesperson said our communication provided all of the flight information needed to check in online, including reference number, unique email address and baggage allowance. Well, they got there, didn't they? We also advised that failure to check in online could result in airport check-in fees. We're sorry to learn that this occurred. The statement went on to blast Ryanair's aggressive anti-competitive campaign against travel agents and their customers. On the Beach said its users were treated like second-class citizens. The company also explained why people opt to use travel agents instead of booking directly to get the benefit of booking accommodation and local transport all at once. A bit more pricey too. I know people kind of do it there and there, don't they? Ryanair replied, like any business, Ryanair is entitled to determine its own distribution model. Ryanair has decided to deal directly with its customers and not intermediaries who seek to free ride on Ryanair's innovation and investment, in many cases just to impose inordinate intermediary markups on airfares. The airline also believes customers are assuming On the Beach has a commercial relationship with Ryanair. It doesn't. We would ask On the Beach to respect Ryanair's distribution policy and also its own customers, the statement says. So whose fault is that one? It's a communication breakdown, isn't it, basically, between one and t'other, and it sounds like they're kicking off trying to, blame the other one. Wasn't my fault, gov, kind of thing. That happens, doesn't it? But sick. I mean, somebody mentioned earlier, this is what happens when you play with these budget airlines. I mean, out of the two of them, I probably would use EasyJet, because I don't like the whole Ryanair model where you can just walk on a plane with fuck all and pay extortionate fees after that. It really doesn't work for me. But then you saw the story that I brought you earlier about my customer's own encounter with EasyJet. And that's pretty disgusting, the fact that you can go 83 miles from here to there and find out when you get there that the flight has been cancelled. It's nuts, really nuts. Anyway, folks, this is the Daily Chat with Andy the Gabby Cabby, part 2, because I fucked up and pushed the wrong button, didn't I, at the beginning, and cut everybody off. If you haven't done so already, please can I ask that you do this on the old like button. And let's get those likes up a little bit more before we depart. If you haven't done so already, can I ask that you please consider subscribing to the channel as well and try and get those numbers up too. And that's all great. Let's have a quick look again and see what people are saying. I can't afford what chefs say to cook. They're also out of my league. Should have bombarded Downing Street with custard pies. Yeah, that would have been a sight, wouldn't it? Too bloody right, Tony Whitworth. I don't care if monkeypox joins forces with HIV and COVID to become a Marvel comic supervirus. I'll never comply with another public health. Yeah, I totally agree with you, Tony. Totally agree with you there. More aid for Ukraine, less money for Britain. Yeah, it's ridiculous, isn't it? That's all you hear on the news everywhere. Meanwhile, we've got people on the streets. We can't afford to heat our own houses and everything else. It's nuts. Jamie Oliver, chef, messing around with our traditional dishes like fish and chips, cottage pie. Jamie told off by the Italian housewives when he wanted to change a traditional Italian pasta dish. Yeah, mind you, he doesn't mean cheese and onion sarnie or malted brown bread. You get that in the Shell garage, Jamie Oliver's a prat that thinks he can cook. Love it, Alan. Yes, John Kent is here. This is the chap that I met earlier today. It's amazing. You pull into the petrol station to put diesel in the car, and this fella stands in front of your car with his mouth wide open going, and it was John Kent, Cove Lord John Kent, who lives local to me. Keep meaning to meet up, and we have a rendezvous, so to speak, at the Sainsbury's garage. The real Pollyanna, when they can accept dinghy divers unvaxxed, untested, days before they left France. I feel the same way. They can shove their mandate where the sun don't shine. Totally agree, real Pollyanna. We're all the same here. Some of my comments wouldn't get published on Andy's live stream, John Harris says. Probably not. I can imagine what they are. Mew, WTF. The UK Chancellor and his wife have made the Sunday Times rich list for the first time, and they're worth 730 million quid. You couldn't make that up, could you? I mean, how the hell can he relate to us in any way, shape or form, or understand what we're going through when he's worth that much money? Completely detracted from anything else. Okay, there's something happening on the 4th of June in Dover. Somebody's organising it, and they want a big crowd. I think it's one of those outdoor boot fairs where it's bring your own baseball bat, and you go down there and make a lot of noise and celebrate. But yes, well worth looking into. 92 watching, only 64 likes. Smash the like button. Matt Michaels getting over the long kung flu. It's been over a year now. So that's mad, isn't it? I mean, when I got it, I just felt tired for a few days, and that was about it, really. It wasn't that bad. Sunak is a character on Star Trek. He is, isn't he? Paul Hoskin, absolutely. Roll on the Revolution. Don't forget the pitchfork and torches. Hello, Mick Hardstaff. Good to see you. It's all about citizen compliance and control. They're testing us to see how high we'll go when they say jump. I'll go about that much now. They can fuck right off. It's as simple as that. Have you had a nice bowl of Wuhan bat soup, Michael? I love it. Listen, folks, I'd love to stay here for a little while longer and natter a bit more, but I've really got to go and get some shut-eye because I've got that late night airport run this evening, and I'll be going up there in the small hours. So thank you everybody for joining me once again. I appreciate you all of your support with the everything you do with the channel. You subscribe, the channel memberships, the comments, the everything. We all have a good crack together. If you haven't done so already, please hit the like button on this version of the chat, take 2, before we disappear off, and that'll be grand. Let's get those numbers up again. Make sure you subscribe as well. That'll be cool. You can catch us on social media and everywhere else. So until next time, which will probably be from Hereford tomorrow, if the Wi-Fi signal and everything else is allows for it, I bid you toodaloo.